Welcome to Shabeena Love Story. Today I'm sharing an emotional English story for beginners, my first night of marriage. This is the beginning of a beautiful and emotional journey. It was my first night after marriage. I was nervous and excited at the same time. My heart was beating very fast. I entered the room slowly. The room was decorated with beautiful flowers and soft lights. My wife was sitting quietly on the bed. We looked at each other and smiled. It was a new beginning for both of us. If you enjoy this story, please like this video, subscribe to Shabeena Love Story, and don't forget to press the bell icon. I sat beside her carefully, trying not to make her feel uncomfortable. For a few moments, neither of us spoke. The room was quiet, and I could hear the sound of my own heartbeat. The silence felt a little strange, but when our eyes met, we both smiled. That simple smile made the moment feel warm and peaceful. After taking a deep breath, I smiled and said, "Hello, I'm your husband, but I think we should become good friends first." She looked at me for a second and then laughed softly. Her gentle laugh filled the room with happiness. At that moment, all my nervousness disappeared, and I felt much more relaxed. We started introducing ourselves again, not as strangers, but as two people beginning a new journey together. I asked her about her favorite food, her hobbies, and the things that made her happy. She answered with a smile and then asked me the same questions. Soon, our conversation became natural and enjoyable. We talked about our families and shared funny stories from our childhood. She told me about the games she loved to play when she was young, and I shared some of my own childhood memories. We laughed at our silly mistakes and enjoyed learning new things about each other. As the conversation continued, we began talking about our dreams for the future. We spoke about building a happy home filled with love, respect, and understanding. We hoped to support each other through every challenge and celebrate every success together. We promised to communicate honestly, care for each other, and always stand by one another. Time passed so quickly that we didn't even notice. The nervousness of the evening had completely disappeared. Instead of feeling like strangers, we felt like two friends who had known each other for a long time. It was a peaceful and memorable beginning to our new life together, and we both believed that this was the first chapter of a beautiful journey. Here's an expanded version of that paragraph. As we continued talking, we slowly realized that we had many things in common. The more we shared, the more surprised we became. We both loved reading books in our free time and enjoyed getting lost in beautiful stories. We also loved sitting by the window with a warm cup of tea while watching the rain fall. Spending time with our families was another thing that meant a lot to both of us. We believed that family was the greatest blessing in life, and we always wanted to keep our loved ones close. Our conversation became more interesting with every passing minute. We talked about our favorite books, movies, and songs. We shared our hobbies, our daily routines, and the little things that made us smile. Sometimes we laughed at funny childhood memories, and sometimes we listened carefully to each other's experiences. Every story helped us understand one another a little better. As time passed, the nervousness we had felt at the beginning of the evening slowly disappeared. The awkward silence was replaced with laughter, warm smiles, and meaningful conversations. We no longer felt like two strangers meeting for the first time. Instead, we felt like two close friends who had known each other for years. We discovered that we had similar dreams for the future. We both wanted a peaceful home filled with love, respect, honesty, and happiness. We agreed that trust and understanding would always be the strongest foundation of our relationship. We promised to support each other during difficult times, celebrate every joyful moment together, and always communicate with kindness. Before we realized it, hours had passed. The conversation flowed naturally, and neither of us wanted it to end. That beautiful night taught us that a strong relationship begins with friendship, honest communication, and mutual respect. From that moment, we knew that our journey together had started with a bond that would continue to grow stronger every day. Here's an expanded version of your paragraph. After talking for a long time, she looked at me with a gentle smile and said that she had been nervous since the morning. She told me that the wedding ceremony, meeting so many new people, and starting a completely new life had made her heart race all day. She was worried about whether everything would go well and whether we would understand each other. As she spoke honestly about her feelings, I could see the sincerity in her eyes. I smiled and admitted that I had been feeling exactly the same. I told her that although I had tried to stay calm throughout the day, I was also nervous inside. I wondered if I would be able to make her feel comfortable and happy. I wanted to be a caring husband, but I was afraid of making mistakes. Hearing that we both had similar feelings made us realize that we were not alone in our worries. We looked at each other for a moment and then laughed together. It was a warm and genuine laugh that removed all the remaining tension between us. The room suddenly felt lighter, and our hearts became more relaxed. That simple moment reminded us that sharing our fears was much better than hiding them. Our honest conversation helped us trust each other more deeply. We understood that a successful relationship is built on truth, respect, and open communication. We promised that no matter what happened in the future, we would never hide our feelings from each other. Instead of keeping problems in our hearts, we would always talk calmly and find solutions together. We also promised to support each other through every situation in life. Whether the days were filled with happiness or challenges, we would stand side by side. We agreed to celebrate each other's achievements, encourage one another during difficult times, and never let misunderstandings grow between us. We wanted our marriage to be based on love, patience, kindness, and mutual respect. That heartfelt conversation became one of the most meaningful moments of our first night together. It was not expensive gifts or grand celebrations that made the night unforgettable, but the honesty, trust, and promises we shared. From that moment on, we knew that our relationship would begin with friendship, understanding, and a strong commitment to always be there for each other. Here's an expanded version of your paragraph. After talking for a while, I picked up my phone and suggested that we look at the wedding photos together. She smiled happily and took out her phone as well. We sat close to each other and began scrolling through the pictures from our special day. Every photo captured a beautiful memory that we had been too busy to fully enjoy during the wedding ceremony. The first picture showed us standing together on the wedding stage, smiling at everyone around us. We laughed as we remembered how nervous we both had been at that moment. Another photo showed our parents with proud smiles on their faces. Seeing their happiness filled our hearts with gratitude because we knew they had always prayed for this day. As we continued looking through the pictures, we saw our brothers, sisters, relatives, and friends celebrating with us. Some photos reminded us of funny moments during the ceremony, and we couldn't stop laughing. We remembered the cheerful conversations, the delicious food, the beautiful decorations, and the warm wishes we had received from everyone. Every picture brought back a special memory that made our hearts even happier. There were also candid photos that we had not seen before. In one picture, we were smiling at each other without realizing the camera was capturing the moment. In another, our families were laughing together, creating memories that would stay with us forever. Those simple moments became even more meaningful when we looked at them quietly side by side. As we reached the last few photos, we paused for a moment. We realized how many people had gathered to celebrate the beginning of our new life together. We felt thankful for the love, support, and blessings we had received from our families and friends. We understood that our marriage was not only the union of two people but also the joining of two loving families. With grateful hearts, we thanked God for bringing us together on such a beautiful day. We prayed that He would bless our marriage with love, peace, patience, and understanding. Looking at those wedding photos reminded us that every smile, every blessing, and every prayer had become part of the first chapter of our journey together. We knew these memories would remain precious treasures that we would look back on with happiness for many years to come. Here's an expanded version of your paragraph. As the hours passed, the night became calm and peaceful. The excitement and nervousness of the wedding day had completely faded away. A gentle silence filled the room, making it the perfect time to dream about the future. We felt comfortable with each other, and our conversation became deeper and more meaningful. It no longer felt like our first meeting. Instead, it felt as if we had known each other for a long time. We began talking about the kind of home we wanted to build together. We imagined a place filled with warmth, laughter, and happiness rather than expensive furniture or luxury. We both agreed that the most beautiful home is one where people feel safe, respected, and loved. We dreamed of decorating our home with simple things that reflected our personalities and creating a peaceful environment where our families and friends would always feel welcome. After that, we discussed our careers and personal goals. We shared our hopes, ambitions, and the dreams we wanted to achieve in the coming years. We promised to encourage each other to work hard and never give up during difficult times. We believe that success becomes more meaningful when two people support each other with trust and understanding. We agreed that no matter how busy life became, we would always make time for one another. Our conversation then turned to the life we wanted to create together. We talked about traveling to beautiful places, celebrating important milestones, and making unforgettable memories. We hoped to face every challenge as a team, solving problems together instead of blaming one another. We wanted our relationship to grow stronger with every passing year through kindness, honesty, and open communication. As we shared our dreams, we also spoke about the values that would guide our marriage. We agreed that love alone is not enough to build a strong relationship. Love must be supported by respect, patience, trust, forgiveness, and understanding. We promised to listen to each other with care, speak kindly even during disagreements, and never let anger or pride damage our relationship. We believed that every problem could be solved if we stood together with calm hearts. Before ending our conversation, we made a simple but meaningful promise. No matter what challenges life might bring, we would always remain partners, best friends, and each other's greatest source of strength. We knew that happy days and difficult days would both come, but we were ready to face every moment together. That peaceful night became the beginning of a future filled with hope, love, and beautiful dreams, and we believed that love, respect, patience, and faith would always remain the strongest foundation of our relationship. Here's an expanded version of your paragraph. Just as we were enjoying our conversation, something unexpected happened. Suddenly, the lights went out, and the entire room became dark because of a power cut. For a brief moment, we looked at each other in surprise. The room, which had been glowing with soft lights only a few seconds earlier, was now lit only by the gentle moonlight coming through the window. Instead of feeling worried or disappointed, we both smiled and laughed. It was such an unexpected moment that it made the evening even more interesting. We joked that even the electricity wanted to give us a peaceful and romantic memory to remember. Our laughter filled the quiet room, making the darkness feel warm rather than uncomfortable. Since there was nothing else to do, we walked over to the window and sat together. The cool night breeze gently entered the room, carrying the fresh scent of the evening air. Outside, the sky was clear, and the bright moon shone beautifully among countless stars. The soft silver moonlight covered everything with a peaceful glow, creating a scene more beautiful than any decoration. We sat quietly for a while, enjoying the calm atmosphere. There was no noise, no distractions, and no need to rush anywhere. We listened to the sound of the wind moving through the trees and watched the peaceful night outside. It felt as if time had slowed down just for us. In that simple moment, we realized that happiness does not always come from expensive things or perfect plans. Sometimes, the most beautiful memories are created by unexpected moments shared with someone special. As the cool breeze touched our faces, we continued talking about our hopes, dreams, and the wonderful journey that lay ahead. We smiled, laughed, and enjoyed every second together. The darkness no longer mattered because our conversation and companionship filled the room with warmth. We felt grateful that even a small power cut had given us a chance to experience such a peaceful and unforgettable moment. After some time, the lights finally came back on, but neither of us rushed to leave the window. We looked at each other, smiled, and agreed that those few quiet minutes under the moonlight had become one of the most beautiful moments of our first night together. It was a simple experience, yet it created a memory that would stay in our hearts forever, reminding us that life's sweetest moments often come when we least expect them. Here's an expanded version of your paragraph. As the night was coming to an end, we realized how quickly the hours had passed. We had shared smiles, honest conversations, beautiful memories, and dreams for the future. Before going to sleep, we both felt that there was one more important thing we wanted to do together. We decided to offer a sincere prayer and begin our married life by asking for God's guidance and blessings. We stood quietly side by side with humble hearts and closed our eyes. In that peaceful moment, we thanked God for bringing us together and allowing us to start this new chapter of our lives. We expressed our gratitude for our families, our loved ones, and everyone who had supported us on our journey to this special day. Then we prayed for a happy and successful married life. We asked for good health so that we could take care of each other for many years to come. We prayed for peace in our hearts and in our home, hoping that our lives would always be filled with kindness, patience, and understanding. We asked for wisdom to make the right decisions and the strength to face every challenge together. We also prayed that our love would continue to grow stronger with each passing day. We hoped that no misunderstanding, difficulty, or hardship would ever weaken the bond between us. Instead, we wanted every challenge to make us wiser, more patient, and more united. We asked for the ability to forgive each other, to communicate honestly, and to always treat one another with respect and compassion. As we finished our prayer, a deep feeling of peace filled our hearts. It seemed as though all our worries and fears had disappeared. We looked at each other with grateful smiles, knowing that we were beginning our journey with faith, hope, and trust. That quiet moment reminded us that true happiness is not found in material things but in love, gratitude, and shared values. Before lying down to sleep, we wished each other a peaceful night and smiled warmly. Our simple prayer had done more than ask for blessings, it had brought our hearts even closer. It made us feel stronger, more confident, and more connected than ever before. We knew that whatever the future might bring, we would face it together with faith, love, patience, and mutual support. That peaceful ending to our first night of marriage became one of the most meaningful memories we would carry with us throughout our lives. Here's an expanded version of your paragraph. The next morning, the soft golden sunlight slowly entered the room through the curtains. The warm rays of the sun gently filled the room with light, marking the beginning of a brand new day. After the excitement and emotions of the wedding day, everything felt calm, peaceful, and full of hope. It was our first morning together as husband and wife, and the feeling was both joyful and unforgettable. As I opened my eyes, I looked around the room and smiled. A few moments later, she also woke up. We looked at each other with happy smiles and softly wished each other, "Good morning." It was such a simple greeting, but it carried a special meaning because it was the first morning of our new life together. That small moment filled our hearts with happiness and reminded us that every new day would now be shared together. For a while, we sat quietly and reflected on everything that had happened the previous day. We remembered the wedding ceremony, the laughter of our families and friends, the beautiful conversations we had shared during the night, and the promises we had made to one another. Every memory brought a smile to our faces, and we felt grateful for the wonderful beginning we had received. As we looked outside the window, the fresh morning air and the cheerful sound of birds made the day feel even more beautiful. The world seemed bright and full of possibilities. We talked about our plans for the day and the exciting journey that lay ahead. We knew that married life would bring both joyful moments and challenges, but we were ready to face every experience side by side. We promised once again that we would always support each other, respect each other's dreams, and face every difficulty with patience and understanding. We believed that every new sunrise would bring another opportunity to strengthen our relationship and create beautiful memories together. We wanted our home to be filled with kindness, laughter, honesty, and love, no matter what life brought our way. As we prepared to begin the day, our hearts were filled with hope and excitement. We understood that our wedding was not the end of a story, it was only the beginning of a wonderful new chapter. Countless adventures, celebrations, lessons, and unforgettable moments were waiting for us in the years ahead. Holding on to faith, trust, and love, we stepped into our future together, knowing that the most beautiful memories of our lives were still waiting to be created. Our first night of marriage was not about expensive gifts or grand surprises. It was about trust, respect, kindness, and honest conversation. That night became the first chapter of a beautiful love story that we would always remember.